Ladies and gentlemen, this is the EXP podcast.
He's still an intro. Intro, God. Go on.
Jerry the Kid, aka Return of the Kid. You know what's good. My brother.
L Ants RBG. LL Cool A. Grand Verbalizer LA. LA.
No one only. And last but not least, never the least, never lacking.
And he'll pack out here girl too, quickly.
God damn.
God damn.
Makes us look good on the camera.
Oh.
Makes us sound good on the mics.
Oh, whoa.
His name's so nice.
The gal them say it what?
Twice.
J10.
He don't beg no friend.
He don't shoot with a skank. He don't shoot with a skank. You see the camera there. You see the camera there. You see the camera. You see the angle. You see the camera. You see the angle.
Yes, sir. Hey, you're locked in. If you've been watching us for time, you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Also, tell a friend to
tell a friend. Hey, you might have stolen that still. I can't lie.
Big up Kojo Funds, man.
Yeah, big up the guy still.
Don't be a thief. Leave us some gifts, man. Some presents and that. Like and subscribe and that. You get me? Hold tight. KJ always needs some TLC, some food. You get what I'm saying? Man. Come on, man.
We need to set up. What's the other one?
Go fund me. Go me.
Patreon. You're so dumb. Patreon.
Get us out the hood.
You need to get us out the hood, bruv.
The experimentation needs to go fund.
Yeah, that's a viral still. You.
Isn't it the same thing? Go fund me Patreon. You know?
Hell no. Hell no.
It's one like the charity and the other one's what? Like a
podcasting thing.
Oh.
You're violating. Man said.
I've learned something today. Patreon.
Yeah. Soon come, man. Soon forward.
Soon come. But yeah, so I've just watched something.
Yes. I wanted to do something just before we got into that.
Go on.
We love to talk about women on this podcast. We do. We really do.
It's true.
And I feel
I'm scared.
I feel as if it's been a long time since we've updated our little in-show program segment joke about.
It's not a joke.
Oh, it's serious, yeah? Tell them again.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. And I think it's the perfect time because it's winter. You know, say it's cold. You know, say cool outside and dog get cool. London cool. And it now I'm again London cool. You know what I'm saying? London's freezing.
It's cold outside.
So, for you to be outside in this weather, you have to care. For you to be outside in this weather... I don't need to be outside in this weather, you have to be making more money, or you gotta be purposeful, or you really
step
care.
With purpose, please.
Complete the mission in more ways than one. Or I won't. But getting back to the topic of we have various people who we say we'd create an R&B music video for. We mean by that, no filming cameras required, just dancing in adverse conditions. The rain,
filming.
The sleet, the snow. Which of these ladies are resplendent enough, beautifully enough, aesthetically gifted enough to be on that short list?
Aesthetically gifted.
You get what I'm saying?
I can't lie. It's cold right now. You have to be special for me to step outside and dance in the fucking rain for you. I can't lie.
Exactly.
Very special.
So, Gerard, you are dressed appropriately for the winter. You have your scully on. So, I think it's only right, my brother, you go first.
Who did that? Oh, I said Ira Star last time.
Yes, so you can't repeat her. Smart guy. You know he's going to say it again. Yeah, Ira Star, man. She's twice as nice.
Nah. Do you know what it is? Because I've done that already.
Oh, you done?
I've done that.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Gotcha.
Don't spin that. Don't spin that.
Gotcha.
Don't spin that.
Hey, JJ. What was that? 21 to 20?
529.
Neek said Jay the Kingdom already, which is annoying because he did. I promise you, he did.
Said
I remember.
Shensia. So your memory's bad.
Ooh.
Because Jay the Kingdom looks amazing in real life too.
Oh, sorry.
No, don't do it. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying I got friends like at the show who saw her at the show recently, innit? At like the O2 and that.
Yeah.
And they said she looked great. She looked amazing.
Yeah. Nah, Jay the Kingdom for sure.
Eastside Queen.
Ooh.
You can say her.
Nah, I did already. Jay the Kingdom, that's it. Actually, is there another one? I feel like there's another one.
Big up Jay the Kingdom.
Who are you picking, bro?
Yeah, you might as well start. I can't remember the other one.
Has anybody mentioned anybody from Flo?
No.
All right, cool. I'm going in. Big up Flo for the Brit Award, or is it the new Brit Award? I don't know what they got. They got a Brit Rising Star or something.
Big them up, 100%. Their thing is cold. I'm
MOBO,
waiting to see their next thing. I'm very much anticipating.
Award show nominees, which will lead us into our proper topic of today.
And I'm seeing you in March.
I may see you.
Flo.
I'ma put your shit in a
Cardboard box.
You know what I'm saying? So
Why did we do that?
there's the three young ladies are exceptionally gifted, really
Can we
talented.
give them their names as well? Who are we talking about?
Renee, Stella,
Mm.
and is it Georgia?
Georgia.
I'm surprised you didn't choose Georgia, knowing your history. Do you know what I mean?
Because there's another person named Georgia Smith. You can I just say it, bro. It's okay.
Just knowing your history. But there's one fine young lady from that group who I think is the star. I think she's amazing. I think she's gonna be destined for amazing things, great things, or inspiring things. And that young lady is the songstress by the name of Renee Downer. I think she looks and sounds great. And she's probably a nice person. I hope so. My friend to my left.
Yes, my bro.
You've been like out and about recently, right?
Yes, you have, man.
Working.
Man did, When was that out?
Yeah, we've been working. And because we've been working, you've been seeing people, you've been intermingling, you've been...
Hey, networking.
Networking!
He said networking.
Have you seen anybody who's caught your eye? Don't get twisted. We can bleep it for you. Your ease of purpose, your life.
This guy gets too many blads on this thing, you know. Man, so we play everything he says and then us two.
And he leaves it in. I have to beg it. I have to beg it. Like, dogs.
Recent.
Dogs.
That's the followers, you know.
I'm trying to be like
So
Jay.
J10's not he used influential.
I'm not gonna lie. A couple of like in his followers.
Your phone there.
Yeah. Let me see this. Oh,
This is what you call it.
Did you send it on the chat? Let me
Oh.
see it quickly.
God damn.
Let me see that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Let me see that.
She's a special woman. Yeah, no, nice. Choice.
I don't know who they are, but hey.
Nah.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah. But
Oh wait.
Plus, be careful. You are being recorded into the recorder.
That's what we got, bro. So
nah, they don't.
Yes, there is, bruv. Because if we start doing that, we're gonna start letting names fly. Don't do that.
You can let names fly, man.
Nah, it's fine. I thought I knew.
I
didn't. Who are you looking at when you said that?
No, you look at me. She's cool though, man. Nah, I got one more though. Rebecca Winter is amazing in real life. She's really nice as well.
Big up you. I don't know who you are, but
She's a singer. She's so nice.
Oh, is it?
She's got a
Okay.
really nice smile as well. Anyway, also we're talking about the Brits. We're talking about Flo. Hold tight, Flo. They won something. It's been award season.
Yeah.
It's been award season, and Gerard, my good brother, was about to start telling you lot about something he just watched.
Oh my god, it's disgusting, man.
Please enlighten us.
It's disgusting. MOBOs that happened quite recently.
I would still like to say, big up all the people who attended and enjoyed the MOBOs, because that's your moment, and your experience is not everyone else's experience. But
so, Chuckie online, I've mentioned his name before quite a few times.
that's your idol, eh?
Inspirational for me in terms of the podcast scene. Either way, Chuckie. Black
Big
hand
up
for
your
you.
chest. Give him a black hand.
100% inspirational. Which is why it really paid me to see this whole story. I was confused as to... Actually, not even confused. I was just baffled when I heard this. So, essentially, he was invited to the MOBOs.
Because he was nominated. First things first. Like, he didn't just...
What was the award that he was nominated for?
Best media personality or best personality. So it's a strong category.
Do we know the names that were also in it as well?
ZZ, you know the names.
Yeah.
ZZ and all them lot. So hold tight them as well. Mo, ZZ, the
Chunks,
names.
Philly.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Mm.
names.
Yeah, strong.
Very strong
And
category.
he 100% had deserved his place among those names. Nella Rose as well.
Yeah, so the names.
Yeah. These are the names that should have been there. So the names that should have been there, I don't know if they all attended as well, but Chuckie was nominated, so he should have been invited. Naturally, he should have been in there. But what transpired...
But before that,
what was going on?
fuck him getting nominated.
Okay.
His part of the culture should mean he should be there.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain people who just have to be there regardless.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
100%.
There's for example, I'm gonna make this comparison a lot because the GRM awards that happened the other day, there were faces there who were not nominated, that were big faces that need to be there, originals in the thing.
Okay.
So Asem, Aras, this one and that one, that need to be there because they're originals in the thing and they need to get their flowers and need to be seen there.
Do they have, you know, for like MTV, they have like their sort of legacy award where it's like a one thing where they just give it to the one person that's been like that's been like the culture, and they give it to them as like, yo,
musically they do. Musically they do that. I don't think they have that for DJs, artists, managers, and all that thing yet. I think that'll come soon.
Yeah, what transpired? First of all, because I actually don't understand the process of the MOBOs getting invited, well, the process that you have to do to actually get to the show itself. Because when I heard the amount of money he had to pay, not only for himself, but for the people that he wanted to bring, made no sense.
Let's just put it in perspective. Award show politics and protocol is a thing. So let's not act as if that's abstract. It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The payment for each of them is very different. I've spoken to some people, they say that's not our thing at no other award shows. Other people said, yes, it is, depending on the price.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I was going to use this as a wider topic of more than just Chuckie and the MOBOs. I was going to use it for the Grammys as well.
Right.
Because Justice, who you lot probably don't know, Justice is the head of the label of Summer Walker.
Yeah, no, you told me before as well.
Yeah. Justice has complained on Instagram. He called into the Joe Budden podcast about Summer Walker, his artist, not being for no Grammys for the last 2 albums.
Right.
So, still, what's it called again?
Over it, and then still over it.
Over it and still, my bad. Over it, still over it, got no nominations or no wins. And he was pissed off at that. And Joe and other people told him, like, sorry to hear that, but you lot didn't play the game well enough. Which sounds mad. But award shows is not about the artistry and the acts. It's all about the labels.
Yeah.
1000% about the labels. Who is there, who wins. I'm not going to say it's not a fair vote and people don't vote. I'm not going to say that. But if it were to ever come out that it was that, I'm not going to be surprised. But that's not the case from my understanding. Do you know what I mean? So, let's take it back to the MOBOs now. Chuckie gets, as you said, nominated, invited.
Yeah.
They use an old press pic of him. Red flag number 1. And if you've seen, I've seen the picture because I went to go look at it.
I didn't see it. Is it on the page?
Go on to the MOBOs nominations. And it's literally Chuckie, DJ Chuckie from like 2009, bruv.
With the dreads?
No,
he didn't have dreads. He had
He had no hair, bruv.
There was a moment he had dreads. I remember seeing a picture like that.
Nah, all right, maybe not that old, but it's his first.
But 2009, bro.
Or it's his first press pic being a podcaster. So even then, he has short hair in this pic. Everyone who's seen Chuckie knows he's got longer hair now, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not dreadlocks or nothing, but do you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
The picture's crazy, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the picture's mad. Because it ain't been changed. We've seen it.
Bro, there's people on there, their pictures are current, recent. And if it was the same thing of we reached out to them, we didn't get anything back, so we're going to use the things that we find, they could have put the effort for him to find a... Bro, his Instagram is there.
It's not even just his Instagram. Every person that is media savvy, trained, or has a press pick. It's media 101. You see all these brand new artists, they get what? Press picks. In my role, asking man for press picks.
What's this thing called? EPK, Electronic Press Kit.
101 as a musician. EPK. So
what other things does it include as well?
social media stats of like, oh, I was in this Spotify playlist, Apple Music playlist. I've charted here if I've charted. Like my tape was released then, it got this amount of streams. I've got this amount of listeners on Spotify a month, etc. Basically, it's a marketing tool. And with Chuckie, he said, cool, that's fine. It's an old picture. It could have been all right. Do you know what I mean? He's cool about it. Very calm. As he said, he wasn't even gassed about being nominated. He didn't care. So cool, he's emailed them. And essentially, I'm not going to go through the whole email back and forth, but he waited days, plural, to get to A, get responses, B, to get adequate responses. He signed up and didn't pay. His artist brethren, who he didn't name, who us lot will not speculate because we don't know, paid for 7 people. Paid.
Can we put into perspective the amounts that they were actually mentioning as well?
I don't remember the exact numbers. It got to about 4 or 5 bills for about 5 guests.
Okay,
No, as in 5 bills for one of the... So if you
yeah. No, yeah.
That's what I meant. So it was
I
like
remember
2
it started
bills,
at 2
bills, then 3, then 5, and then some astronomical numbers. Again, I've spoken to some people, they said that's not a thing. How dare they do that? Because Chuckie's critique of the MOBOs is not the first. This person told me 2 years in a row, fam, they're on an idiot thing. They're on an idiot. And I'm not using this to slander the MOBOs, by the way. I still want to say big up Kanye King and all what they've done for the good they've done. I think it's just about being balanced and holding people accountable for when they have done wrong.
100%.
Which is what Chuckie was mad respectful during that. I don't know if you watched the whole thing, which you didn't. But no, during the whole thing,
yeah,
like a blood.
No. I'm saying he's a better man than me. If I'm putting myself in a position like that, he reacted very, very well.
I mean,
carry on.
Even afterwards, even Poet, that can be quite fire burning, weren't that rude. He was rude, but he wasn't rude like disrespectful. He just said that this is the reason I messed with them for years. Because they've disrespected artists that I hold or we hold in high esteem who were in a way better position than me at the time. So if they're going to treat them like that, how can they treat me like that? And then they also talked about basically, so after the bit you stopped playing, they talked about how, I don't know if you recall in 2012, the whole dance music thing.
No.
So Neo and them lot dancing, get Beyonce, Rihanna doing dance music.
Oh yeah.
The MOBOs ditched the man them and started to give
Those
Jessie
kind of
J awards and who was the
Jessie J,
Katie B and them lot, like give them awards.
Oh,
so it didn't really become the MOBOs; it became the
what we gonna call it? We can't be MOBOs.
The WOBOs.
No,
the WOBOs.
That don't even make sense, but it's still mad.
No, I'm joking.
It's the MOBOs,
the MOBOs.
For those who don't know, first do your research because we can't be just doing everything like explaining that. But we're gonna tell you anyways. Music of black origin, MOBOs.
I think they were very respectful throughout the whole thing. I don't think they were that rude. I would just say that I'm always careful to not be too harsh on black businesses, but also to give them critique when it's time. I think this is the time to give them critique when it's time. Because this doesn't all rest on just Kanye King. It rests on who she's hired as her staff, if they're competent or incompetent. Do you know what I mean? And if this is an instance where it's incompetent, because Chuckie is not the first person. I spoke to my brethren. He told me, I said, he's meant to, I'm not saying the actual award because it will just bait it. But he's meant to introduce an award. He does it every year.
Right.
Get it? Doing it every year. But it got televised this year.
Right.
So the people who've watched it can guess which award it is because it's an award that isn't usually televised. But because of her artist size and who they are, it got televised, didn't it?
Right.
He didn't get told anything until the day of. He's like, fuck this, I'm not going. So similar to the Chuckie thing, except he didn't even go with it because I'm like, I'm not doing all this. Is palaver. Every year is a thing. And I think it's important that we just hold people accountable for when they're wrong. Like, fam, you can't have the man, in one instance, waiting for 7 days to even get... He didn't even get to pay. He put in his details.
The last thing that he got from them, an invoice. No. Invoice for £60.
That's crazy. That takes the case.
What was that even for? That's the actual mad thing because the prices they were giving, they don't match up. An invoice for £60. Bro, that sounded like an email that was meant for somebody else. It just got forwarded to him. He was like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Bruh.
And I think the best course of action is just apologize, free tickets, host it next year, clean that up. Because Chuckie's a bit too... As much... There's times I fundamentally disagree like with Chuckie and that, you know, on a big man thing. For example, you see that most recent interview he did with that little racist... And stop myself.
The feet, brother.
I stopped myself. That racist little pussy,
Yeah.
My man, innit?
Yeah.
Who was disrespecting black people and that.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm talking
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
He interviewed him and I didn't like it because... Not that you don't interview him, but you have to press him. I don't care if it's like, understand, yeah, I hear that, Chuck. And you know me, man respects Chuckie.
Yep.
But you got to ask him journalistic questions.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be just listening to the man, not giving no feedback. Because that's what happened in terms of the whole Kanye thing. Nori got in trouble. The main reason he got in trouble, because he just sat there and let him talk. As a journalist, you're meant to, if someone is chatting shit, you don't interject, but you ask journalistic questions of, so what do you mean by that? Actually, no, I challenge that because it's protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And, like in the case of, it's protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That is poor form from the MOBOs because it's true of mine because I've heard other stories of it. And the fact that there's an artist on there who's of a sizable name to invite 7 people, pay and not get no response is crazy. And I don't want this to fall at the feet of black award shows because we just saw GRM, Posty and them lot host an amazing award show. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear no negative feedback for that apart from that it was long. Because of its...
It was televised as well?
Yes, taped and everything. And that's why it's long, because it's taped. But we saw everyone getting like no problems for the whole night.
That's great.
And between me and you lot, yeah, people them are saying that not even the actual person.
Oh. Let's just drink. This guy's so dramatic. Look at him.
The word on the road is, I'm not saying this because I don't know, is that the person isn't really, really, but I just wanted to say it because I think it's pertinent. That the word on the road is that is a mate behind a lot of that decision making. Not saying it says anything. I'm just saying, just some food for thought.
That has changed the whole thing. Because my take on it was, before this, I definitely didn't think it was a malicious thing. I think it was simply an issue of the team that you've got right now are incompetent. Or not necessarily incompetent, but they're not up to standard to where they should be communicating properly. There was a point where he sent an email, they didn't send nothing back. Then another day, he sent an email, they didn't send anything back. And at that point, it might be a thing where, okay, cool. Maybe he's emailing at a certain time when their office hours are done, or they've emailed where he's working, he's busy, he's doing his thing, so he's not getting it. They emailed the one time, and he didn't get it, or he saw it and he was like, okay, cool. Let me now email again and again and again, and they're just not getting at the right time. So it's like, okay, cool. there are other mediums of communication. A phone call.
Not even
More than likely, there's a phone number at the bottom of the email, or there's another way they can contact them to say, my office hours at this time, that time. You can then reach me on this number or my office, whatever number there is. There's another medium of communication there where you can go, sorry about the mix-up. We've just been out of office for these times, whatever. Let's sort this out over the phone now, quickly. All it takes is one phone call. Nothing like that happened.
I agree. Also, you can respond to his email on some of the emails. Then, in the same breath, you said, we've got the wrong... What?
That is a fucking lie.
Thank you for saying it, because I wasn't trying to be nonsense. How can you respond to the man on certain emails and then other emails you don't? That don't make logical sense. It's like me saying to Gerard, Gerard, I text you, but like it's blocked. But I can text you the next day. Yo, G, but as soon as you text me about peas, it's blocked, G. I could even say, what? That don't make logical sense.
I don't know what server or what service they're using, if it's like Outlook or Gmail.
They said the wrong email, bro. They didn't say nothing about the server.
No. As in, I'm trying to find an excuse for them, but there's none. Because I work Gmail, I work
It's
Outlook.
The
same
email.
thing.
No, it's not that. They respond to him on certain email. So you have his email. Stop chatting shit. You have his email. And I don't want to get animated with this. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I think the MOBOs is still a good thing. I don't want this to look like an attack. And I haven't got to pet or pamper what I say. I'm saying more so of it's from perspective. Young kids need the MOBOs. They need the rated awards. We just need to put different stock into different award shows. Do you know what I mean? So, for example,
finish what I was saying. Sorry, because I was going off of something like the whole story, and knowing Chuckie and knowing what he's brought, and there's still even things I need to know about Chuckie to really understand where he's coming from. He's been in the game long enough where even if you're lacking on the communication side, there's a thing of you gotta pick up and see, yo, this guy has emailed. He's somebody that's supposed to be there, regardless of whether he gets nominated or not. He is important to the culture, so you need to make sure that he's getting attended to properly. And
you say that, but people don't know the culture. This is way.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's the people that are in there. I use the word incompetent. You could take it as it is, but I'm also just saying that you, as an entity, as a business, the person at the top, if we're talking about the very, very top,
so if it's Kanye King,
if it is,
that rests on Kanye King.
I'm saying, yeah,
if it's
it does.
Not, that's a very different conversation.
It's a different conversation. But if it is, the people that you hire, the people that you look to and say, we're starting something important, and we're going to recognize everybody that's contributed and brought something to the culture, then and now, you got to take into account all the responsibilities that are within that role. And that just didn't happen in that moment.
I think the point that those two raised, both Poet and Chuckie, and I agreed with them both, is that even if you don't rate people the same in real life, for a week, just act like it. Treat everyone the same for a week. They've all been nominated. Treat them the same. The fact that your biases are so clear of who's important to you, the recency bias and all these things, shows you the issue. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, certain people can get in. And I want to get into more of the award show politics, because people slam them for the whole sharing the award. That's not uncommon.
I have heard it before.
That's not uncommon. That happens when one label or one powerful entity should get something, and the academy, the association, whatever it is, feels there's going to be backlash if someone else don't win it. That's what happens. So you because we've seen it when instances, for example, with what's that name?
Who?
Is that the name? What's his name again? Macklemore.
All right, yeah.
And the Kendrick thing.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was animated.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So that happened, and they're trying to avoid all that. Do you know what I mean? I saw people talk about the Nux and Sims thing. I'm like, they could have both won it and got the same amount of votes. But It's probably more likely. We don't know, by the way. This is just speculation. Allegedly, as they all say, that's. I don't want to piss off this person because they're this person, and do you know what I mean? Because they're both great albums, and I think they both definitely deserve to get celebrated.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky one because the award show hasn't ever been about the artist, so this doesn't surprise me.
Not never, but
Not
for a while.
for a long time. It's been a big game for a minute. For example, even at this year's Grammys, who's got Lato got nominated bare.
Back to this album of the year. There was one other album that was nominated, and we've mentioned it before. We mentioned the
Koji
politics.
Radicals,
Yeah. I mean, it is subjective to an extent where we're saying that should have won. That was up there.
I think it could.
And because we've mentioned it, we've rated it. We both rated it higher than Knox's album.
But
so I'd see it. No, it's us personally. So I said it's subjective to an extent. But there's a thing of, we also talked about, it's an off-camera conversation, but we talked about the politics of where he tried, why he tried there.
Let's just be real. Fuck it. I'm just gonna pod today.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a black man talking about some
Real shit.
pro black shit.
Real shit.
That is a threat to the society. I don't care what anyone tells me, bruv. Kendrick is Kendrick, so he's allowed to kind of do that. And even Kendrick hasn't been watering down his content, but he's been shifting to different things and tapping into different bags because he can still be pro-black Kendrick, but he's mixing in other stuff with it. But Koji is still in that place where he's very pro-black. So, and I get why, for example, the Nuts album is a bit more polished, if we're being honest, in terms of like mastering. I think so. A little bit. I feel like the beauty of Koji's album is the live instrument feel. You can feel it. Do you know what I mean?
Because when you say polished to me...
Oh, as in terms of MCing, this isn't a conversation.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the actual sound, like the sound of it, like the engineering of it. I'd say Koji's. But because Knox's soundscape is quite... Not like it's in one thing, but it is more centralized than Koji's. Because Koji's kind of goes around, like he goes into different pockets, different spaces,
Afrobeats,
different soundscapes. Yeah. It's a lot easier for Knox to sound polished because you're doing the one thing. The mastering engineer has a blueprint to work from.
And probably has less to do.
Yeah.
Probably has less to do.
Exactly. So I'd say, even still with that, Koji's to me sounds more polished. And it's hard, and which is mad to, not mad, but it's to accomplish that compared to something with Knox as well. I think that's something that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I think both are great products, and I wouldn't be personally mad if either of them won. Or Sim. I think Sim's probably... I don't know why Sims was in this year's category. Is it just me?
Because she came out last year, isn't it? Yeah. But how early last year?
I'm presuming and this is what probably what happened, yeah. JJ can attest to this. Of you handing past the date and they kind of promise you something. Not saying they did, because we don't know the conversation.
September
so
2021.
Past the handing date.
Well, I don't know the handing date for the MOBOs, but and then also the MOBOs, they didn't happen.
Yes,
what did they?
Yes, they did.
Was it like an online thing?
No, it was in person.
Oh, but then because I remember I seeing she only won not last year but the year before.
That
album, not album of the year. She won something. Female artist.
She deserves it.
Which she deserves, but it was in 2020, and in 2021, I don't know when the MOBOs happened, but was she not nominated or what happened?
Same time last year. Like I actually know people who went, so I know for a fact that happened because people went and it's documented. Who hosted it? You know what I mean? I think I don't want to disrespect the MOBOs because I think 25 years they've left a good legacy.
Yeah,
but I think it's just about tapping back into the community and not forsaking it. And because I really don't want, there's gonna be people who disagree with me, and say two different viewpoints. The first one is, you shouldn't attack it. It's for us. It's like, yeah, I'm not attacking it, but you know what it means. Like, also, I haven't spoken in the most positive light about it right now.
Yeah.
But the second one is they've never been about the man them, and we'll point to when the music got shut down twice. So the first time with More Fire Crew, So Solid.
Mm-hmm.
The second time with the gigs, Blade Brown. You know what I mean? Not getting shows. They didn't really support the man them because it wasn't commercially viable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tough spot to be in because do you make money or are you for the culture? Are we selective about that? Are we now selective of what's for the culture and what's not? Because we don't care when certain people will be like, I'm going to go get a check. It's very selective, so we got to be careful. And I think there's just other award shows. I think if the MOBOs are going to drop the standard, go support Posty and them, man. Because they've shown you that they can do it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm scared that with this episode, and this doesn't fall on Poet or Chuckie at all, because that's just their experiences, both of them.
Right.
Because even Poet, later on in the episode, talked about in terms of, like with Wretch, he was there with Wretch, and they basically promised Wretch something.
This one?
No. Back, like when he was on the hottest fish grease.
Oh, okay.
So like 2012, like don't go Wretch.
Yep.
And obviously he's from Tottenham, so he went with him.
Yeah.
And he said he sat there watching win nothing. Because that's the thing. Award shows will kind of promise you stuff. It happens all the time. Buddy Rich just spoke to Joe Budden and that the other day. And he said, I was at the last Grammys and like they promised me this, that, and the first, and I went shit. I just sat through it in the front row. This ain't the end of the MOBOs. I just think if they just address it like with Chuckie and the rest of the people they've wronged, they'll be fine. Because I think people can see the vision of it. I don't think it's a bad mind thing. Like they're trying to get them out of it.
No.
But I think when you make too many enemies over the years, or not even just enemies, just people get done with you. That they get done with you quick,
It's all these little things where
and it adds up.
they add up.
Therefore,
But
it adds up. Do you know what I mean? It can add up
You
quick.
do all these little things, and you might think, it's hurt this one person, but it's the one person. But that one person, even regardless of how much they bring to the thing, they're still a part of the community. This whole thing for me is looking at us as a community and actually moving together, like as a unit. Because the whole thing about where we talk to them about, there's two sides, people criticizing the MOBOs for not even being about the man, and then also, what was the other thing you said as well? Sorry.
Essentially, the fact that we should still stick by them because they're us.
They're us.
And I see both sides of the argument because I agree with both. Like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't dash it where.
Wherever we stand on it, it's got to be together as a unit. Because
Yep, 100%.
even us coming on here criticizing,
I don't think it's
not saying not, but we're critiquing and trying to give them some sort of, we're trying to let them know like there's responsibility that needs to be taken here, and we want to call you out for it. But us doing it,
I don't think it's calling out.
no. But what I'm saying is us doing it is important, because there's going to be other platforms, either they ignore them and act like they don't care, or they come at them and they gun them down. And these are platforms that are not for us. Do you get what I'm saying? These are platforms that are not part of the community, that shouldn't be speaking on these things.
Or who are part of the community trying to tear down the community because it helps them.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm worried about. That's why I said I love the way they both handle. So it was Chuckie, Poet, Novelist as well. Came later towards the end.
Keeping it within our community, ourselves, is important, because like you said, this is not a new thing. This has happened before. These kind of things have happened before to other people. And the more we speak about it, the more we support these people. These people, I mean, they're having conversations probably already, and these things get resolved and whatever. But to learn from it, them organizations can take what we're saying, can take what other people within our space is saying, learn from it, and be better. That's important.
And also for the startups such as a Guap Gala and all these other places, learn from this too. Because you lot are going to be next. In a sense of, not even like on a negative thing, but more so of be careful how word gets around. Because when one person says something, it travels to another person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you say, if you really want a secret, don't tell nobody. Because someone's going to tell somebody. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. It's going to spread out. So I'm saying to them, it looks immaculate and divine. But what you need to do is just be very wary of how you treat people. Because you don't know where people are going to end up. Because the person you think is not important right now could be the wickedest thing in 10 years. Same thing happens with radio. Like, the person who you think is not going to blow is going to be that artist that is shelling it down. And because you didn't play their shit song, you're now reaping the benefits of not supporting them. Support is support. This industry is, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's very simple, innit? If you don't understand that at this point, then you are just self-aggrandizing and doing it for you. And people don't like that. And nothing but fuck what people like. That's how it should be standard. That's how everyone else does it in the industry. You think people like each other to get to work in business? Fuck that. It's about papes. Do you get it? And building an infrastructure where we don't need the Grammys because guap is the wickedest thing.
100%.
We don't need the Brits because GRM rated is the wick, and the man them show out for it in their wickedest garb. Not I'm gonna go to the rated in my Chuckie and I go to the Brits in my fucking 2-piece down suit and Balenciaga. Fuck Balenciaga, by the way. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. With the whole coming in the Chuckies thing, because I remember there was an episode that we did and we spoke about it a little bit.
And the person I said it was Crystal, innit? Crystal was like, oh, how can you?
Hey, Crystal.
Wagwan, my little sis Crystal, don't know. But anyway, she's like, oh, like, you know how embarrassing you look? I'm like, why? I don't give a fuck what they think. I don't give a shit what they think. If they are comfortable in their Chuckie and they changed, what is the problem with that?
Honestly.
Like, because we're pushing our own stereotype. You can't be mad, yeah. It's the same thing as this dreaded N-word. Tell people all the time. We love it. We use it on all our songs. We love it. And then comes and says it. Someone else comes and says it. And now it's an issue. Not saying it's right for them to use it. They shouldn't use it. But if we held a standard with the word, they'd become more fearful of using it and use it in its right context. War is war. Offense is offense. Do you understand? Not, oh, I heard you using it and it's a term of endearment and my favorite rapper, like I've got a monkey, uncle's cousin that's black. What? Do you get it? So I think it's just important, as Koji said, talking about the brand from the 80s. If it's for us, by us, it's got to be genuinely, really for us. Authentically black.
100% genuinely.
And not black trauma. This is something that we need to promote the good side. So if we're going to do culture, we got to work to solution-based stuff. For example, it's all good knowing that homeboy and homeboy don't get on and it could get rough. How do we get a solution where they can end their problems? That's the way I see it. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're just going to let people have problems and tiptoe around the thing. Like, that's not fixing the community. Like, not everyone has to be kumbaya around a fire. But everyone needs to know that this dance blood is a niceness. So even if you lot don't like each other, get on here. At bare minimum is get on here.
I want to talk about, because we've been speaking on the effects on the community, our place in the industry, when these things happen, what then happens after that. The individuals as well that get affected by this. Because whilst I was listening to this and I was listening to Chuckie's story, I kept thinking, he's quite an honest person, so he's already telling you how he feels. But I'm thinking to myself, how is he really feeling, like deep inside, the things that he's not telling us?
I'll tell you, because in my line of work, I've worked with the best, the greatest in the world. And I'm not saying that to big up my chest. I'm just saying it as a matter of fact. Like, I work with a criminal group. A lot of them are jaded and become very cynical. As in, I saw myself becoming like that. I'd come to these podcasts and talk to you lot and be like, nah, that's not going to work. Because, you know what I mean? I had like, you know what I mean? Like, you suggest something from a fan's perspective. I say, nah, and be very cynical about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you become jaded when that shit happens to you over and over and over and over and over again. So we need is to take time out and say, okay, no, let me see this from a different perspective. Do you understand?
Mm. We were saying as well, he's taken this taken the whole moment and just went, I know myself as a person, so I'm not going to let this affect me to that level. I'm being honest and saying I felt a ways. Yeah, I had a moment where I was agitated, but I've moved past it. We'll have the conversations and we'll go past that. But I thought to myself, wow, that's... And we said it as well. I'm inspired by him as a person that has a platform and he wants to have conversations and, you know, listen to people's perspectives and then take that and let other people learn from it. I see that and I'm like, when I want to reach that level, these are the kind of things I have to go through and actually overcome. But knowing myself, I'll say to myself, I'm a sensitive person. So there'll be things where I take to heart and it's I need to take time to get over it. Yeah. And I need to work on that in order to move forward in this industry and then just in life in general. These things are going to happen. But if I listen to that again, I'm already getting agitated for him. Not even for me, just for him, because it's how do you deal with the disrespect, the level of work that he's put in, and a simple email
that's the same,
can't even get sent back to you.
That's the same thing Poet said, there's people who I rated or who are in a far better position than me, who are my friends, who are telling me their experience. I said, rah, if that's them and they mean this to the culture, and I'm about to tell you these names, you say I'm crazy and that didn't happen. And so if that can happen to them, what do you think happened to old me? And this is 2012, 13, you know what I mean? When he's got a little name, but he's not Poet like we know him now, innit?
Mm-hmm.
And that's essential to understand, because that's the way I see it. That's why I'm this behavior needs to stop and cut out if it's purposeful. And from what it looks like, it's I wouldn't even call it a disrespect. It's a lack of evenness. Just for a week, treat the man equal. Doesn't matter if you really feel like that, you know. No one cares if you really feel like that. If you think Central C is now the wickedest thing because of recency bias, and I'm not just saying that to harken on Central, any one of them, H, any person, if it's Dave, because he's the wickedest thing right now, feel like that. But for a week that everyone is nominated, treat them at least in the same ballpark. Not certain man can bring 30 man and next man are paying for 20 man. Or paying for 3 man. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
The wildest thing for me watching it was each time he had to send the correspondence back or he felt the need to go back to them, there was no sign, no level of pettiness, no level of, you lot are disrespecting me. Can I just get an email back? It was just yo, I haven't received anything. Please, can you let me know what's going on? Kept it professional, kept it humble. I'm thinking, I can only imagine he's probably cussing them on the side. He ain't saying nothing to them directly, but because in that moment you have to let some sort of steam off, because bro, each time they're not sending him something, I'm feeling the ways. He's feeling the ways, and he said it, but he still kept it to a thing of, I mean, this industry stand, you kind of have to keep it like that, because if there's a level of where you get disrespectful, then you know what I'm saying, you contribute to the thing. But he's kept it humble, he's kept it cool, and I just think to myself, if I get to a place where I'm continually getting disrespected, and I'm also somebody that's, you know, had a turbulent time trying to understand where I've been walked all over, taken advantage of, and not even knowing it at the time. Do you know what I mean? Not knowing myself, and knowing there's been moments where you know, I've been buoyed, I've just not actually taken what's happened into perspective. And now going into an industry where anybody can do that to you, off of, I don't like you, or I don't know you, I don't have to treat you a certain way. Anyone can move like that in the industry. And so for me to have to now deal with that, listening to that story, I thought, yo.
A lot of the times when people talk about the industry, we kind of talk about it as if it's its own separate beast. It's a monster. I think as soon as we humanize it and deal with the fact that these are human beings
Mhm.
making human errors or human triumphs,
Mhm.
we'll better understand it of how we treat people in real life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these people did something wrong to another person in Chuckie.
Uh-huh.
So take away the fame, the status, the accolades. It's like how you deal with people, in it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So as long as we keep it at that level, we'll progress. And as a community, there needs to be some independence. You can't have 120, 130 years working for next man. Because let's have an honest conversation. The music industry is us working for them.
Yep.
You can splice it up any way you want, and this person's independent and this person's not. 90% of you lot are distributed to a major. Who are the majors owned by? Yeah. And even then, if you are independent and you're talking the way you're talking, as in, like, when are we gonna gain ownership of this industry for our own and distribute for ourselves? Because that's gonna lead into a wider topic of African people need to learn how to manufacture and distribute. Because otherwise, your survival into the next century is not guaranteed. I've said this on this podcast so many times. You're insane to me if you think guaranteed black people are just gonna go into the next century and the century after that. It's insanity. Look at the way that the world is going. So I said, in this industry, the least us lot owe each other is some time and some patience. Then once that is that's not respected, then you can handle people accordingly. I say the one critique I have of this is that I get he's a content person. I get it. Should this have been handled on camera?
Well, I say the way we're reviewing this situation and talking about it, obviously we're putting it on a platform where anyone can access it. So,
and also the people who watch this can ask us the same question: was this necessary?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I haven't got a problem with you lot asking that.
Because if we're doing it in that same breath, I'd say this for us is necessary. This for us as a community is necessary.
I think so.
And so for him to voice his opinions and come out and say that, and he did it in a respectful way, I think it's necessary. I think it's well done, because yeah, he can come to them, talk about it, and say, I felt a ways about this. Can we talk about how we're going to move forward, the solution to this for the next time? If it's not me, it's going to be someone else, and I want to make sure that you guys handled that properly.
And that's why I think he filmed it. That's why I respected it so much. I feel like it's not about him or poet or novelist or whoever. I think it's about that young youth that's 18, 19, who's has some songs buzzing, wants to go to the MOBOs and isn't shocked if this happens to them now. Ain't jaded, ain't angry. It's like, oh, it's someone else's experience. Okay, let me intellectualize this now and have some time to deal with it properly instead of lashing out. Because other people are going to lash out and turn it silly. So I think you got to treat people with kindness and respect. And we owe it to each other, man, because us lot don't do it enough anyway. We're very much the first people to attack each other, lash out at each other, to purposely or unpurposely destroy each other.
It's a disease where we're still trying to learn the effects of it and actually get out of that mindset of someone else is doing something, now I have to say something about them. Or even what's going on now, we've been disrespected.
I have to answer with disrespect. I'm currently unlearning that. It's the pettiness. Because it's a position of weakness. And I've had to come to terms with that. That pettiness, for the most part, is a position of weakness. Powerful people don't need to be petty. As much as we, like, us will see, there's like a billionaire who did this. It's like, you're that focused on the person who did something to you 7 years ago that you have to now get in this powerful position and to shit on them. You have too much time on your hands. If you experience real growth and real, you know what I'm saying, you can just leave it. And that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near. I'm not talking from a position of perfect. I'm nowhere near there yet. I'm still very petty. Like, leave me alone, innit?
But what I was talking about with, like, my personal plight with having to deal with, you know, not knowing myself, learning about myself more, and learning not to take anything from anybody. I'm on the other side of that, where it's like, no, you shouldn't be petty. You should learn to, within our community, humanize people and learn, okay, this person did something wrong and I need to just understand where they're coming from.
It's balance.
But it's all
because
I do not want to get to the other side of that I'm petty. I'm gonna, you did something to me. I'm gonna remember that. 10 years later, I'm gonna come back and, I'm saying diss you or whatever.
You know
It's
what? Go on.
that other side I'm coming from, coming to the middle and just, all these feelings are valid. Everything that you feel in the moment, that's how you feel. You have to accept that. But learning to go from that and go, I can't diss this person. This person's a human. For whatever reason, this person did that thing. It's happened. I'm not gonna let it happen to me again, though. I'm gonna learn for it from myself and know how I need to move forward. And then when we have the conversation with that person, if the conversation needs to be had, what's the solution? How are we gonna address it?
Pride is necessary. As in, the only time I think is a good thing to have your ego die is when children come into play. Because I think you don't need an ego to raise children. I think if you lead with that, like as an adult with children, like it can get dangerous. But having pride and ego is self-preservation for something. Not too much. It's about balance. And you can't lead with it because it's just a thing where you become toxic to yourself. It's not even about, because there's bare people who say, this person's a prick. They have a big ego, but they're being a prick to themselves because they're just burning bridges for themselves that they're gonna need. It's not just on a useful thing, on a friendship, on a humanoid level of like, fam, you're being a prick to someone who could have even been your friend. Fuck business. It could just be your good brethren. But because you're treating them like shit, they're never gonna talk to you again. It doesn't make logical sense. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro? So,
it's mad.
Yeah. This is not the first or last time this will happen in terms of the MOBOs. Or at a award show. That's why I was trying to open it up. Like, big artists don't fuck. Like with the Grammys. Drake, don't fuck with the Grammys.
The Weeknd.
Nicki was on there screaming again. I've read somewhere that she's never been nominated. I'm like, that can't be true.
That is not
or
true.
It's like, no, I lied. It's like 7. Has she won anything? I don't think she's ever won a Grammy. Nicki Minaj, as much as you might hate the content, I'm not a massive fan of her content. I think she's a dope MC when she wants to be.
I think, there's a level of respect. But it's the Grammys, so we're not even gonna.
But let's just talk about her status in the game as arguably, not mine, the greatest female MC to ever touch a microphone. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, she's the last vestige of superstar we have. Mm-hmm. Drake, Cole, Kendrick, her. Maybe a Meek if you want to throw him in there.
Yeah.
Big Sean. No, I fuck with Meek. Yeah. But I'm not saying it on a disrespectful. I'm talking about his catalogue of it. Like, he took a dip.
Okay.
The award shows are always an interesting time because this industry and the people in it find new ways to play games.
Let me ask a question. Generally, how do you feel about the concept of award shows?
It's nice to celebrate. I get the stance of art just being art, so it shouldn't be judged.
Right.
But it's also a business, so I get it.
Yeah. And I should also phrase it as like the concept of award shows as it is now. Cause that's a different thing as well. It's purely business. As we said, it's label driven.
Labels, marketing, PR, just anything apart from the music itself.
That part of it, 100%, not 100%. 100%. I don't really rock with it. I don't think I see myself turning up to many award shows in my industry career, wherever it gets to. It's something that I just sit back and think, it's politics. It's all politics.
I think it's good to go to experience. As in, I was gonna say, I forgot my point of us lot might get cancelled from the fucking MOBOs and this one because we said what we said today. Like, what is if you say something, you gotta know the repercussions of it, what your stance is, and how you stand behind it. Like as an adult, because words have consequences. Words are powerful.
That is true.
Words are spells.
Yeah.
So people could not take this like as us being constructively critiquing and trying to be nice about it. And
But-
the thing is, I'm not playing politics like with the MOBOs.
Mm.
I'm just being diplomatic because I don't want to tear down black people in public. I don't have that. I've never really been that type, especially not now.
Mm.
So I'm trying to find that angle where, not that it's not that deep, but like and I'm solution based as well. Because us sitting here for an hour just tearing them down does what? Nothing.
If even just more negativity
And
surrounding
then-
our community.
And then maybe some press and hype for us, and people watch us for a minute, and then they go away.
But I wouldn't even. My main purpose for this episode is for someone to come to us, ask us more questions, give us their opinions, help us find solutions that we can then bring for future episodes. Something that we haven't thought about before. If they've gone and gone, yo, what you said there, I've been thinking about it. And I think, and then we go, okay, take that on, and we actually talk about it in another episode, or even outside of it, to people that we speak to within the industry when we're networking. That's something that is good. That's what I'd want. And then if there's a critique that you have of our opinions or of what we're saying, if there's anything that you want to take out and be like, yo, I feel like what you said there wasn't correct or wasn't right, just tell us. I'd want to know about it, because I know 100% there's things on here that I've said that I listen to again and I'm like, not even that, like, I want to take it back, but I wish I had taken the time to think about what I said and then come and put it in a different light or explain it a bit more, because sometimes it can be taken out of context. And that's just due to like media, all the outlets that are doing things, but it can still be a thing of, I know myself, I know how the media works. I should be saying it in a way that people can take it in and actually understand properly.
There's a tabloid style of journalism that has become popular in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It comes from the Murdoch school. So Fox, Sky, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Of salacious headlines, kind of partial facts mixed with untruths, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's somewhat protected by law, but if you have a really good lawyer, you can get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Allegedly, by the way, so it's one of them ones where it's like, that's the style of media that is current.
Yeah.
It's the shade rooms type, the shade borough. All these people operate from that style of media.
Yeah.
It's a Eurocentric European style of media.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is learn new ways of media and now transpose it to the younger generation. So when they come up, they can start go for content filled stuff and not just go, we're talking about Fox News, let's click on it, and then it's clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. With the award show thing, the general concept of what it should be, I keep going back to it and thinking about how it could be better, what it should look like, because I'm all for celebrating artistry, people that have greatness, people that have contributed to the culture, people that have made the culture what it is. And then when we have nominations where there are several people in there that 100% deserve it, and then one person gets it, and I look at it and I think, obviously, on the industry standard, is, you know, one person has to win. But when we're just talking about artistry in general, can't celebrate mediocrity. I just want to make that small point there, because we've said it before. Mediocrity needs to just.
That's kind of subjective as well.
Subjective, 100%, of course.
I'm trying my best to be balanced. It is kind of subjective.
Kind of. But when we can see artistry in its, when we talk about people that have gone and done, let's say, I'm trying to think of someone that's like an example of like artistry. Kendrick Lamar.
I was going to say that.
Do you know what I'm saying? This guy, everything surrounding his music that he puts out, that he documents, that he lets the people know is going on, all the small things that he does, the live shows, the dancing, all elements of his music outside of the album kind of tells you, it can tell you, yo, this isn't just a guy putting out music for the sake of, I like to make music.
It's greater than that.
Bigger than that. So that's the kind of thing where you can look at it and say, it's subjective to an extent, but there's a level of it where you go, nah, this person right here.
And that's the thing. It's about having musical people in rooms. As in, I was in a room the other day full of somewhat musical people and then like other kind of famous people, and I noted that there's a fear of critique.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to critique something because I might not get invited back.
Yeah.
But I'm like, critique makes art greater. Not that you should slander any piece of art, but you should make the artist want to do better.
Develop.
Like we was talking about Shah. I want Shah, hopefully she doesn't see it as anything negative. I want Shah to see it and go, oh shit, I need to get my shit. Not on a bad man thing, but these lot want the best for me. These lot are championing me every song, but want me to get to that next level.
I'd like to think that she'd see it like that, because our content right here is just, it's the right balance of we celebrate, but we also, how do I say it? What's the right word?
Critique is the
Critique.
And also, like in the new year, just to kind of get to rapping, us lot are gonna do more just celebrating. Like even Western, that last episode we was gonna do was gonna be a celebrate Western thing. They have the catalog for it. Even Stylo G, to celebrate people while they're here.
100%.
We don't, and people who have gone too, but just we don't get enough time just to celebrate. We're like, yo, you've done this in music. You deserve to get your flowers, your everything.
You know what? This is even leading into my main point about the awards that I was saying. So I said mediocrity. I want to move away from that. Said talking about anything. The main thing I want to do is giving people their flowers, because, like I said, in a nomination, in a category where all these people are nominated, all these people deserve their awards. One person has to win it. That's kind of the way these things go. But I say everybody in that category deserves. I'm still contemplating about how an award show would work like that. If we're sticking to this theme of award shows and we want it to happen, we want to see them happen within the community as well. Everybody in the category that gets nominated deserves their flowers in some way, and deserves to get recognition in the same way that we select the one person that wins it and we celebrate them. They're getting their flowers. They're getting the recognition.
To be honest, it should really get to a point where it's so prestigious that being there is the award. Like, I'm amongst this company. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
that there for me is a thing of, yeah, you've made it to that elite class of artists that are making culture shifting, seismic, inspirational art.
Main thing for me is balance. You can have those other award shows, but yeah, as long as you have the balance, that's the key thing. But yeah, award shows are tricky, and they take a lot of organising. So hold tight, all the people involved in organising them too.
100%.
It's definitely not an easy job. Do you know what I mean? It's something that requires a lot of planning, a lot of sacrifice as well. So
time, effort,
energy, effort,
managing different entities as well.
Personalities is a big thing. Bro, you sat me next to my man. My man's not even in the same class as me.
Someone has to deal with that, you know, and they gotta be professional. Cause I could even understand it from that side of things, where like if there's someone that you don't like, but not because you don't like their music or whatever. Personally, as a person, that person's just not a nice person. And I would understand you moving not being unprofessional, but I would understand you feeling the ways about that. From that perspective, I go, okay. You know
it's all about managing. It's about having a good temperament.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you have a good temperament, you can let certain things just brush past you. Not brush past you, but like recall it, but don't ever let it just consume you.
Learn from it.
It's far harder to do than say. I'm getting better at it.
I need to work on it.
But yeah, this has been actually a decent episode. You know, it's been alright.
It's been alright, man. EXP, you already know who it is. Smoothest voice from the West Side. I make music, I write stories, and we podded today. Jerry the Kid, aka Return of the Kid. You know what's good.
L Ants RBG, Grand Verbalizer LA, LL Cool A for the ladies. Them, damn. The Natty Dread, who may make them affy fled.
Oh God, you might see him end of the year, New Year's Eve, stepping outside.
Oh Lord.
Approach correctly.
Yeah. Also, like if you're new on me, if you see me outside, like I have on the Superstar 8s, make sure get along for your approach. Get along for your approach me. I'm joking, man. Bless, love.
No. You forgot LA what?
LA,
the one and only.
And finally, the person that's been working sleepwalking, sleeping.
Only on this episode though. Can't lie.
No, I wasn't saying he's sleeping like that. He's been working so hard that he had to just.
No. I said he was working this episode, didn't it?
Oh shit!
Joking, man. You was working the last episode as well, man. I'm dead.
The boy J10. You wanna get some food from the ends?
Hey. J10XJJ Studios.
Come record here, man, but make sure your thing's nang.
Bro, this thing here is bigger than the studio, bro. It's a movement.
It's community.
I'm telling you, EXP, the biggest, baddest podcast, part of that community there. If you are a podcast platform, what are you doing? What are you doing if you're not recorded with J10?
You're lacking. You're slacking.
You're lacking.
You are not packing.
We're working.
Come on, man.
Literally.
Signing out.
Bang, bang.